Hello everybody and welcome back to Screen Stars and welcome to my review for episode 5 of Star Trek Picard. Now this episode is called Stardust City Rag, and if you've been watching or following my reviews of the series Star Trek Picard, I think it's been on a steady decline. Last week's episode was a particular low point for me, and I was really hoping that the quality was going to pick up. Well, I'm pleased to say that I do think this episode has seen a slight increase in quality, but only just, I would suggest. And this episode follows Picard and his ragtag crew. They are still looking for Bruce Maddox. They have found Bruce Maddox, and they've also got 7 of 9. So essentially they head down to this space station. They have to do some negotiating, pretend to be somebody who they're not, but ultimately 7 of 9 has got an ulterior motive for being there. That's really all I can say on the plot here, because there's not an awful lot to talk about. We don't get an awful lot of stuff on the Borg cube this time, just a few little bits. That's dull as dishwater anyway, the Borg cube stuff. I think what made this episode stand out a little bit, certainly from the last couple, is I thought 7 of 9's arc in this story, in this episode in particular, really worked, and I liked that. She was basically there to exact some form of revenge for somebody who she considered kin, which you see at the beginning of the episode, in quite a brutal scene, which is another thing that I can't understand. This is Star Trek. Gene Roddenberry would not approve of A, the language, and B, some of the brutal scenes that we're seeing. At the beginning of this episode, you see somebody's eyeball being pulled out. This is not Hostel. It's Star Trek, okay? I don't know what they're trying to prove. It doesn't feel like this. Star Trek should be for everybody to watch. That's part of the message of the show. And I just don't feel this is. This doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel like Star Trek. And I've mentioned it before, Patrick Stewart doesn't feel like Jean-Luc Picard. It's like he's forgotten who this character is almost. You see flashes of it now and again, but I've got to say, his performance in this episode was odd. He puts on this ridiculous French accent. You have to put on these costumes to go to this station because you have to dress extravagant, apparently. Well, the way they choose to dress is unbelievable. It's like it's like a weird 70s disco outfits they're all wearing. And Patrick Stewart's Picard is wearing the most ridiculous outfit and puts on this ridiculous French accent when he's trying to sell 7 of 9 to these negotiators. It was comical. It just didn't work, and if it was meant to be funny, it didn't work because the situation they were in wasn't funny. It just seems like they're off. They keep when they've got something of interest in this episode, and that was 7 of 9's story and Raffi's story when she went to see her son in this episode. Those were the two things that they could have got some meaning out of, and they ruined it with this light comedy approach to this episode at times. They find Bruce Maddox, so now they know the location of the second child of Data, if you like. So I think the next episode, I think, is the one where he meets number 1 again and Councillor Troy. So I'm looking forward to that just for that. I just cannot understand some of the decisions they've made in this show. The people have decided to add into it are just fleeting cameos from the previous show. I just don't understand why they couldn't have had bigger roles, because it would have been a better show. Who doesn't want to see Worf and Geordi and all these people having a more significant role in the show? I just think the direction they've took here is wrong, and poor decisions and some poor writing. It just seems, after all the years to bring Picard back, it doesn't seem the right story, this, to me. And if it is the right story, they're not telling it in the right way. But I do think there has been a slight increase. I need to be fair on the show, but I'll be honest, I'm not particularly enjoying this show. I'll give it a 7 out of 10 this episode. There was a couple of bits in it that I think worked, 7 of 9 and the story between Raffi and her son, which we didn't see enough of. The rest of it was not particularly interesting, which is a real shame. So let me know in the comments what are your thoughts on Star Trek Picard. Are you as disappointed as I am? I am still going to continue with the show. I am looking forward to next week's episode. I think it is the one with Jonathan Frakes and stuff, so let's see what we get. So thanks for watching, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this review. I'll see you back for more reviews on Screen Stars very soon.